Okay, so have you ever stopped to really think about what connects a totally normal Gen Z gaming server, like, say, a Minecraft world, to global security, or even to actual physical execution in the real world? It sounds like a massive stretch, right? But here's the thing. The digital and physical realms, they just aren't parallel universes anymore. They are colliding in real time, and it's completely reshaping how human intent becomes physical action.
Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're clinically mapping out the complex architecture of modern digital radicalization. We're going to see exactly how abstract online data, specifically inside what experts are calling the virtual caliphate, is being engineered by extremist groups to drive actual, physical, real-world consequences.
Here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll look at the Onlife ecosystem. Then, gamifying the virtual caliphate. Third, we map the algorithmic funnel. Fourth, crossing the semiotic bridge. And finally, we land on physical execution. Let's get right into it.
Starting with Section 1, the Onlife ecosystem, blurring the lines.
So the absolutely crucial thing to grasp here is that radicalization doesn't happen in two separate realms anymore. Philosopher Luciano Florietti actually coined this perfect term for it, Onlife. It describes this hybrid space where our digital and physical experiences completely spill into one another. You know that threshold between the analog, carbon-based world and the digital, silicone-based world? It's basically gone. We're living in a reality where an online post or a simple digital interaction is a concrete performance of physical reality.
Moving right along to Section 2, gamifying the virtual caliphate, the Trojan horse.
It is fascinating and honestly pretty terrifying to see how this actually operates on the ground level. Our sources show how users are building custom mods inside massive, totally mainstream open-world games. I mean, players have literally built the Islamic State of Roblox. They call it ISOR. They're recreating real-world war zones like Raqqa, Fallujah, and Kandahar right inside Roblox and Minecraft. Users throw on stylized avatars and simulate combat. It's basically gamifying extremist environments, making them super interactive and hyper-social for young teenagers.
And they definitely don't stop at the games. These groups flawlessly speak the native language of youth culture. They weaponize Wojak and Chudjak memes in this weird cross-ideological blend that experts call alt-jihad. They're laying militant monologues over heavy atmospheric funk and future bass music on TikTok. They tap into hyper-masculine telewound trends, spinning violent acts into this twisted path to status and honor. And they even push performative talkfur, basically publicly declaring others as apostates, so teens can prove their so-called authenticity online. They are literally embedding ideology straight into the formats that algorithms are already built to push.
All right, Section 3, the algorithmic funnel, platform hopping.
This right here shows the exact step-by-step mechanics of digital recruitment. It is a highly systematic funnel. Step 1, users start out in public algorithms on massive mainstream platforms like TikTok or Roblox. Once they engage, Step 2, they get invited to private roleplay servers like Discord to hang out and refine the narrative. Finally, Step 3, the most committed users get migrated over to encrypted environments like Telegram or Signal. Down there in those end-to-end encrypted chat rooms, they are totally beyond standard content moderation. And that's where the actual operational planning happens.
Just looking at the sheer scale of the IS presence across the web, the global infrastructure here is staggering. It spans dozens of apps, from surface web social media all the way down to encrypted dark web tools. It's this massive, decentralized network of networks, relying on rapid platform hopping to basically outrun any attempts at centralized moderation. But to really grasp how this digital radicalization turns into kinetic, real-world violence, we've got to look at the literal hardware threshold between our two worlds, because extremists are actively figuring out how to cross that divide from digital intent to physical action.
Which brings us to Section 4, crossing the semiotic bridge from intent to code.
Whenever we talk about turning a digital thought into a physical act, we hit a massive wall, a modality gap. On one side, we have what researchers jokingly call OS alpha, the human mind. Our cognition is warm, it's messy, it's associative, and totally meaning-driven. But on the exact opposite side, you've got the actual hardware, the arithmetic logic unit, or ALU. And that silicon, it's cold, rigid, completely deterministic, and entirely blind to our human meaning. It only cares about physical electrical voltages.
So, how in the world do we safely cross that gap without totally losing our intent along the way? The answer is the semiotic bridge.
This is basically the use of strictly formatted text, think JSON or a Python script, to act as a universal deterministic interface. Explicit text is literally the only safe medium that can squeeze our fuzzy, boundless human imagination into a rigid template that physical hardware can actually execute flawlessly.
I absolutely love this quote from our sources because it nails the concept so perfectly. We are quite literally tricking rocks into thinking using lightning and text. I mean, think about that. There's no magic ghost in the machine. It's just human intent, forcing physical silicon, the rocks, to execute via electrical current, the lightning, all dictated by strict text. We provide the intent, the machine just executes the sweat.
And that brings us to our final stop, Section 5, Physical Execution, the final collision.
When we look at the bleeding edge of this network architecture, you see the exact moment that digital and physical collide. A digital command gets securely anchored in chronological order using what's called a LIFO data structure. Then, a Kali wrapper essentially acts like its passport, giving it a verifiable legal identity. From there, this verified data trickles all the way down to a small, localized microhost on a desk somewhere, like an open-source cheerbot, which is basically a Raspberry Pi. That device reads the text and triggers its GPIO pins to literally send electrical signals right into the real world. We're talking spinning a motor, flipping a switch, or dispensing a tip.
But here is the kicker. This execution is verified by what's called a record of sweat. Before the machine takes any physical action, it mathematically proves that real, actual human calories, physical effort, and metabolic energy authorize that digital intent. It is this beautifully visceral way to guarantee that a digital state change is completely grounded in real-world human action.
So, we've seen how this Onlife reality works. Whether it's the cultural gamification of the virtual caliphate or the strict hardware execution of a local microhost, digital commands are actively orchestrating our physical world. The bridge between human intent and physical action is built, and it's being deployed right now. So I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. As these systems integrate into literally every aspect of our lives, who is really at the controls? Will you just passively accept the automated environment and remain a target in these funnels, or will you claim your role as a sovereign pilot of your own digital future? The choice is yours. Thanks for tuning into this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.